Pastor Steve checking in with you on Chapter 9, Leading with a Limp, the chapter titled Worn to a Nub, the exhaustion and disillusionment that introduces true hope. Exhaustion is just kind of almost a part of what leaders go through to figure out before they end up in a better place. He starts talking about the unlimited need and expanding opportunity. I mean, as a leader, there's always things that can be done. There's no end to new things, how things can be fixed, how things can be changed, how you can work with staff, idea. There's just no end. Of course, if we're honest, we have a limited energy resource in and of ourselves. But what we can do is unlimited. And so there's tension there, and sometimes we want to keep moving forward, keep doing new things, even when we've depleted our energy reserves and there's nothing left to do. And I don't know how this works for you. For me personally, I slide into that, and I don't see it coming. My wife will often ask me some questions, help me figure that out now at this point in my life, but I slide into it, and then I go, oh, look what I did to myself. I depleted all of my energy. I have nothing left. So unlimited need, there's all kinds of things that can be done, but we actually as people are limited. We're finite beings. We cannot keep adding. And that can bring us to the point of exhaustion. He talks in the chapter about busyness and how busyness and laziness seem to be the opposites of each other, but actually they're incredibly similar, because sometimes we're busy, and our busyness, we're lost in it. We don't really know why we're doing what we're doing, but we're busy. We're keeping busy, and that's important because busyness makes us important. And he makes the case that a lazy person and a busy person both lack intentionality. Lazy person just doesn't care to do anything. A busy person is frantically going around, but not knowing why, and not really deciding what needs first attention and what actually doesn't need my attention today or even in the next month or year. And we get trapped in this busyness because in our culture, if you're busy, you're important. I mean, if you walk into my office and I got my laptop screen up and I got my calendar up and it's full of stuff, then you go, oh, he's busy, he's important. Well, not necessarily. I could just be busy with things that don't matter much. And so we got to watch out. Why am I busy? What's going on there? He talks about the point of disillusionment, where we're busy, we're trying more stuff, we add, we never subtract, and all of a sudden we just run out of energy. And we get disillusioned, like I can't be a good leader anymore because I can't keep adding. I'm running out of energy and steam. And he has an interesting sentence. We seldom return to God the Father unless or until our supplies run out. This may sound strange, but as a pastor, this is absolutely true for me. I expend all of my own energy, and then I go, wait a minute, what am I doing? I'm going to run out of this stuff, or maybe I already have. Then I go back to the Father and say, I need your energy, your strength. I need your wisdom. I actually don't know what I'm doing that well. I need help. And he talks about, and actually I forgot to mention this in class, but it's just really important. There's this disillusionment that happens when we realize that we thought we were serving the kingdom and God the king, but actually somehow we became the king and we're having Jesus follow us to build our kingdom rather than vice versa. And we got it mixed up and backward. And that creates a lot of disillusionment when we realize we've been trying to have Jesus follow us around to build our kingdom when actually we are to follow him and build his kingdom, and we have to get that sorted out. If you haven't faced that yet, you will at some point. I think most leaders go through it. Then he talks about the boldness is the fruit of paradox. Because when you've failed enough, you stop being afraid of failure, right? I mean, everybody does. It just happens. And if you've had some successes in life, if you had enough of them, you go, well, I didn't actually make all those successes happen myself. There are a lot of other factors coming in. So you stop being afraid of failure. You stop lusting after success. And you just start asking this very important question, which makes us bold. What would please God? Not what is success or how can I achieve, but what would please God? Whole different question. And once we get worn to a nub and go through that exhaustion, disillusionment phase and come back out of it, hopefully we come up with the right question, what would please God? And I'm going to pay attention to that. Discussion around the tables today, good stuff about exhaustion, disillusionment, and hope. First one was simply, what do you do to re-energize yourself? Leadership roles always take energy away. So what do you do to put energy back into your life? And, is it once a year for you? Is it once a month? Is it weekly? Is it a little daily routine? What is it like? And how does it happen? And when you're thinking about, how do I get re-energized? If you don't know, you need to sit and think about that one. Because leadership life is always taking away energy, and we're getting drained out. How do we get filled back up? And it's different for everybody. Our discussion on our table, wildly different what energizes the people at the table we're talking about. And that's the way it is. We're uniquely different people. What is it that gives you energy? For me personally, I figured out probably about 15 years ago, once a month, I need at least 3 hours on a Monday to drive out to a lake and sit in my car or sit on the beach and pray and think about life. If I do that, it gives me energy and I feel like I know what's going on and I can head out in the next month. If I don't, I start to slide. And I've also put another piece to the puzzle, an annual just spiritual retreat week. It's not vacation. I just get away. The focus is to relax, to pray, to read scripture, maybe read some books. No tasks. I'm not sermon planning. I'm not planning out the year. I'm just relaxing and getting spiritually refreshed. If I do those two things, monthly and yearly, I'm going to be okay. Interesting. I got the cornerstone, big new responsibility. Guess what Steve did? Stopped doing both of them. And about 3 years in, I went, wait a minute, Steve, what are you doing? You're slipping. Yeah, I can feel it. Started to add them back in. So I don't know what your story is, but what energizes you, and have you got the rhythm kind of figured out? And are you in it so you can stay energized? The second question is simply an honest self-evaluation. It's kind of a yes or no thing. I thrive on chaos. Some of us do, some of us don't. I yearn for downtime, but when I get it, I feel restless. And actually, sometimes that's true for me. Or you may go, no, when I have downtime, I'm just great. I tend to overcommit my time. That's an easy yes or no, right? And oftentimes for us leaders, we do that. My family thinks I'm stressed. If you don't know, just ask them. They'll tell you. People tell me I'll suffer burnout, but I disagree. I actually feel energized by the constant demands placed on me. True or false? Could be true for you. I need to work this hard a little bit longer because I know relief is just around the corner. Guess what? Sometimes that's true, but most of the times that's not true. The corner is a long ways off, and we have to figure out how to sustain ourselves. And then the real question at the end of number 2 is, are you on your way to exhaustion or hope? Thinking about where you're at, what's going on. Are you sliding down to exhaustion? Are you rising up toward hope? Which one is it? You need to know. And if you're on your way toward hope, great, keep doing it. And if you're on your way to exhaustion, time to probably put the brakes on and think about what do you need to do to put some energy back into your life and put those habits and patterns and rhythms in there. And number 3, simple. 2 questions. I said, pick one around the table, what you want to do. I'm busy because... Why are you busy? At our table, I said, I'm busy because I'm a task person. I just like to get things done. It kind of makes me happy. Which has up and downside. But why are you busy? Are you being forced to? You think you have to? You have to justify your salary or your self-worth or whatever it is. Why are you busy? Or, if I could cancel one thing from my regular schedule, it would be what? And maybe you should cancel it. Or maybe you can't, but you can adjust. I don't know. But looking at the big picture, busyness. You got too much. A number of years ago, I had a guy in my church who was about 10 years older than me at the time. About the age I am now. He's in his early 60s. And we were talking, and he was mentoring me, although I didn't know it, but he was. He was sneaky about it. And he drew me this little chart thing he learned about. He said, with most people, they think they can keep adding new responsibilities on. So they start here and then they add. And that looks impressive, right? He said the problem is your energy level is constant. So you can't keep adding. You have to drop. And that really helped me. It really did. Just throw it to you as a little tidbit or tool. But energy, avoid exhaustion, get the rhythms going, and learn to be honest about where you're at. And if you're married, ask your spouse how you're doing. Oftentimes, they know before we do. So we're headed up about chapter 10 for next week. It's a different kind of chapter. We're kind of 2/3 of the way through the book, and he really stops and in chapter 10 just says, are you serious about this or not? Do you want to be a leader that limps? Do you want to be honest? Do you want to pretend you're not perfect? Do you want to be human while you're leading? Do you want to do this? So it's a different kind of chapter. Read it slow. There's a couple stories in there, if I remember right, and just kind of ponder it. And it'll make for good discussion next week. Great to have you along for the ride. Enjoy the week ahead of you.